leaders certain traits. Now, one of the early cults I discovered was, there's so many cults, but the one cult especially was a personality cult, the personality. Now, this is the group that they stand in front of the mirror and they say you got to dress the part, you got to walk the part, you got to talk the part, and then they're in front of the mirror, they say, Joe, you're beautiful. And they flop because they never discover leadership isn't looking like a leader, walking like a leader, dressing like a leader. It's being a leader. And you'll find people learn how to look exactly like a leader ought to look like, but never learn the first thing about being like a leader ought to be like. Now, I just got out of that cult. I was in that one a long time. Got out of the next cult I discovered was the title cult. The power cult. This is the group that says, if I had the title, if I had the power, the authority, if I were the boss, things would be different around here. If I were the pastor, this church would be different. Did you ever hear that? You probably said it. I've said it all. Well, I remember when I thought, if I had the power. And I tell you, I worked and I worked and I worked. And finally, the vice president of our company in New York saw the light. Called me into New York. Yes, sir, chief. He says, Jones, how would you like to be one of our leaders? I'm ready. He says, go down to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and be the leader. I tell you, I jumped in my car. I sped down to the New Jersey Turnpike. I was sure I'd have a heart attack before I got there. Their leader was on the way. Well, I got into the office, up the elevator to the 7th floor, into the office. Your leader has arrived. And not a lousy soul would follow me. Well, that would be funny, except that's tragic. Because all across America, in business and in church, you find people burn their lives out to get a title, get the power, get the authority, and get it, not to know what to do with it when they got it. Well, I was in that cult a long time. The next cult I discovered was probably the biggest of all the cults, the endowment cult. Now, this group, they don't do anything. They just hang around. They just, they're full of criticisms and whining and whatever. And they don't do anything. They just have a little song they sing, and they're together. And it goes like this. Some have it. Some don't. I ain't got it. You see, it's amazing how many people say, I'll never be a leader. I can't do this because I don't have the ability. I don't have the background. I don't have the bloodline. I've heard every excuse. And by the way, not only have I heard most excuses, I've used most of them myself. But fortunately for me, as I use some of the excuses that other people seem to use, they look so silly to me, I'm ashamed I said it. I know I'm wrong before I even told me. Well, I want to tell you something. If I were going to build an organization, I would never look for a people with ability, the prima donnas. They used to come into my office and say, Mr. Jones, I'm looking for something that fits me. I say, I hope you get something better than that. Go down the street. We don't have nothing at low. You see, if you're a builder of life, if you're a grower, you know what you're learning? You're learning you deserve nothing and owe everything. If you're a taker, you think you deserve everything and owe nothing. Well, I discovered in my life, and I think you know in your life, the price of leadership isn't ability, it's availability. Every one of you, as well as myself, each one of us have so much more capacity and potential. And I'm not talking about positive thinking. I'm talking about positive reality. You and I, and you know it, you have so much, and your job isn't finding somebody to recognize it. Your job is committing your life to go to work and discover how many things will come out of you that would not have come out for showmanship, but for growmanship and beamanship and work. You have never even begun to tap it, and I haven't either. So what I want to say, think about is this. Leadership is not personality. It won't hurt. Leadership is not power, not authority and title. It won't hurt. Leadership isn't ability. You say, well, what is it? Here it comes. Leadership is a price that can be paid by anybody, anytime, any place. And guess what? You are as much a leader today as you're going to be tomorrow, because the price you're paying today has already determined what you're going to be tomorrow. And get this, everybody has an obligation to lead in something.